Welcome to the New Voices for the Theater 31st Annual Festival of New Works. My name is Heather Fawkes, and I'm the Program Director for New Voices. On behalf of SPARC and the Festival Company, I thank you for supporting young artists' work. The play you are about to witness is Blood Architect. The playwright is Charles Perry.
Cain, an android on the cusp of self-awareness and empathy, a tragic edible hero. Abel, Cain's younger brother, an android who lacks empathy and self-awareness. Jeremiah, a human missionary. Mother, a semi-conscious machine who birthed Cain and Abel. Father, Cain's and Abel's creator, an ancient human. Bartender, a terrestrial human worker. Scene 1. The scene is a spacey saloon, dimly lit with neon signs and the like. Cain and Jeremiah sit at a bar facing the audience. Cain center, Jeremiah to his left. A bartender stands behind the bar. Tinny music plays.
Hey, Cain, my man, what's going on?
Eventful day. Just eventful. Not good.
I came as soon as you called me. I was just stationed in Queens with the church. This is supposed to be the best bar in Brooklyn, or what's left of it. The last bastion of civilization, I suppose.
Well, thank you, Jeremiah. I appreciate it.
Anything for my favorite android, right? Hey, how's work been going?
Well, it's only work if you have a choice.
You don't?
No. You know that Father created me. I don't get a say. My siblings and I can do things that your kind can't, regardless. Like make deliveries to Manhattan.
Manhattan? Bud, you can't even take a breath down there without filling your lungs with heavy metals like some toxic Christmas stocking. Better to stay in Queens where the bombs didn't hit. Why did they make you go to a bombed-out hellhole like that anyway?
Well, El Shaddai heavy industry ships anywhere, I suppose, and El Shaddai's sons have to deliver, including me, his oldest. There's Abel, his youngest, and maybe 20 middle siblings, though they're all off-world right now.
Oh, you're one of those transport models. Ain't that the guy who stuck himself on the moon, sending you guys to do his dirty work?
It's not really dirty. Well, mostly. But yes, he just sits in his compound up there while my brothers and sisters, the androids he builds, earn money for his shareholders. They say we're better suited for hazardous environments and cheaper than getting special equipment. They don't say they don't have to pay us, but it is what it is. Jeremiah, you remember that big incubator at Father's home?
Think so. Didn't we see it back when we were kids, when we snuck away from your dad and went exploring in the restricted areas?
Yes, that would be my mother. She birthed me and Abel and all the other androids.
Jeez, I'm sorry, I forgot. She's a nice lady, I guess.
It's understandable.
But she's your mother. Heck, my mom still talks about you and your little brother Abel from when we were kids together. Way back when the church started buying fuel from your dad. A weird way to become family friends, but hey, it works.
It's understandable.
But she's your mother. What's wrong? Is Abel doing okay? I haven't seen him in a really long time.
Jeremiah, it's fine.
All right. Tell your mom I said hi. Anyway, so you were delivering fuel.
Yes. I don't know if they use it for vehicles or weapons. The rivaling warlords, that is.
That's awful. I can see why you're not so fond of it. Do they tip big at least?
Nope.
Oh, damn. So, you want a drink?
Might as well.
The church won't allow me to have alcohol or cans. It goes against the gospel. Unless it's a feast day or second Passover.
Well, I shouldn't have alcohol either. I can't really process it.
Well, then we're shit out of luck, aren't we?
One of y'all had better buy something if she was going to wear out my seat cushions like that. And the hell is second Passover?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. See, 300 years ago, when the bombs fell, all the believers gathered together and prayed for their forgiveness. The Lord spared them from the flames on condition that they would never worship the false idols of Mars or any other species other than ours. And
You're one of those cultist types, eh? Yeah, well, you can take all of your...
Wait! I can have chems. Please get me some chems.
All right, so what's going to wet your whistle?
You have painkillers?
Cain, you know those are bad for you.
What strength?
Maximum, if you've got it.
Well, someone's playing on the wild side tonight.
It must have been a hell of a day.
Believe me, it was.
Cain takes the painkiller device from bartender and places it on the crook of his elbow. He applies pressure and winces as it takes effect.
Careful with those things, kid. Hit the wrong vein, you'll be worse off than before. I got a buddy over on Mars who's a hardcore addict. Man just melted his brain with those things.
Trust me, I can't be any worse off.
Are you old enough to take chems anyway?
19. Well, it doesn't matter for androids.
Don't look like it. Whatever, as long as you pay.
Cain hands bartender a credit card type thing. Bartender exits stage right with it.
Really, man, be careful with that. A few months ago, when my church group was working on Mars, we saw a lady overdose right in front of us. I still can't get that sight out of my mind.
Abel died today.
What? Oh my God. Cain, what happened? Shit, I'm so sorry.
We had just finished the drop-off. Some other warlord wanted the fuel, or maybe they wanted to get off without paying for it. I don't know, and it doesn't matter. They sent a combat drone.
Lights go down on the scene. In front of the bar, a memory scene replays what happened earlier. Cain moves downstage. Abel enters stage left. A small spacecraft entrance sits stage left, and a radio device sits slightly stage right of it.
Abel!
Abel fiddles with the radio device.
Abel! Brother! Hey!
Oh, I'm sorry, Cain. What do you need?
Is the fuel in place? I don't want to stay here for much longer. It gives me a feeling of apprehension.
It's just threat analysis. True, it would not be safe to stay here for longer than 10 minutes. We'll be done before then. The fuel's in place. We're just simply waiting for payment.
That's understandable. It's always the damned warlords. It's nothing. Abel, have you ever had a dream?
Brother, you know that's not possible.
I know Father said it wasn't, but haven't you ever had those strange thoughts or feelings while you recharge?
I haven't.
I've been having, thoughts. Visions, almost. Like swirling smoke, but as dense as water. Abel, do you remember the delivery where we had to hurt that savage when she ran off with the fuel?
Last month, I believe. Yes. That was on the outskirts of the warlord compound on Mars, right? Full of thoughtless savages. She was in the way of the mission. Statistically, she was lucky to escape with her life. It would have been wiser to not interfere in the first place.
Yes, I know, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. She was a savage, sure, but she was a person. She was probably a mother. She just needed something to sell to feed her children.
She was in the way of the mission. Remember priority 1, as Father said.
I can't get her face out of my head. I see it when I sleep, Abel. Damn it, I was the one who took my hollow rifle, aimed it right at her leg, and pulled the trigger. That was the first moment that I felt this way.
Well, console yourself with this. It's most likely she isn't dead. If she is, the warlords killed her, not you. So no need for a casualty report.
I know, but I still see her bleeding out in the dirt. I didn't even stop to check her pulse. That whole scene plays in my head on repeat, brother, every night. I get visions of hurting people, some that didn't happen, like her, but some that didn't, like hurting Father, her mother. Mostly Father. I don't know why. It's as if there's something below the surface. I would never do those things. They're horrible, but I don't know.
That must be troublesome. You should speak to Mother. You may be malfunctioning.
No, I'm going to talk to Jeremiah.
The missionary? What good would be done by consulting a human?
I don't know, Abel. I feel like he'd understand. I just feel almost trapped. Like there's something I'm missing out on. I don't think Father truly knows what he's made.
What do you mean? Father made a perfect design in us. We're made in his own image, of course.
Is it really so perfect? Why can't we dream? Why do you feel nothing when you kill? Why am I stuck feeling so unsure and conflicted, like my real self is hidden behind a veil, visible but unknowable?
I don't have an answer for you, Kate. It's better to not know. Feeling too deeply is dangerous. You need to speak to Mother about this. There's clearly a malfunction.
It's not a malfunction, Abel. I think I'm waking up for the first time, lifting the veil. I'm telling you, brother.
Kane,
It's
picking something up.
That's not the signal from the moon.
Oh no. It's from one of the warlords. I recognize the signal. They've got a drone coming in 20 seconds, it says.
Shit. Grab the radio. We gotta go.
They grab equipment and toss it through the ship's entrance. Both characters are noticeably more frantic. Agitated but trying to stay cool-headed, Abel messes with a panel on the ship.
It'll take 15 seconds to warm up the engines. I'm working on it.
Then we head back to the moon? Well, it's safe there.
We have to make sure the fuel shipment is safe. If it gets jacked, we'll have to start all over again.
Drawing the hollow rifle from his back.
What? They're gonna attack us, Abel. Forget the stupid package.
Priority 1, Kane. Remember what Father taught us. The delivery always comes first.
Maybe he was wrong.
15 seconds to contact, 10 to warm up.
A rumbling whir starts to come from the distance.
Brother, we don't have time.
I'm well aware of that.
I don't want a conflict. We're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get hurt.
As long as they don't damage the shipment. 10 seconds to contact, 5 to warm up.
Why does the shipment matter more than us? Well, I don't want you to get hurt. Listen to me.
Father gave us priorities, Kane. We are here to deliver at all costs. Self-defense is secondary as long as it doesn't interfere with our orders. 7 to contact, 2 to warm up.
You matter more to me than the stupid fuel. Please, brother, forget the shipment. We have to get out of here. Leave the fuel and just go.
5 to contact. Kane, pass me your hollow rifle.
Fine. You're not going to try to...
The rumbling reaches a fever pitch.
Priority 1, Kane.
Drone flies in from stage right.
Abel, come on. We can't afford to wait. It's not worth it.
I think we can spare 5 seconds. I can do it. We have to keep the shipment safe. Otherwise, when we get back to the moon...
You're going to get hurt, Abel.
Calculated risk.
You're my brother, Abel. Don't do it.
If I do get hurt, it's a math mistake, nothing more.
I don't want to lose you.
Cover my 6. There's going to be more coming.
Abel fires his hollow rifle at the drone and misses. The drone charges up and fires a laser at Abel, hitting squarely in the chest. He crumples to the ground as if having cardiac arrest. Kane gasps.
No!
Sirens and ominous sounds come from the distance. Kane has no choice but to escape as fast as he can. He boards the ship, slams the door, and takes off, in a storm of light and sound. Lights go down. The flashback set is removed and Abel leaves. Kane returns to the bar. Lights go up on the original bar scene.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Kane.
It's all right. He made his choice.
Yeah. Well, sometimes people make the wrong choice when it matters most.
What do you mean?
Sometimes I wonder if joining the mission was the right choice at all. I think about where I could have gone if it weren't for the church and the gospel. If I didn't spend my youth trying to tear those Martian colonists away from their bull statues and sacrifices.
I thought you were born into it.
No. I know it looks like that, with most of my family being in it and all, but my uncle really did give me a choice back when I turned 18. He offered me the hollow rifle at my birthday party, which symbolizes how we fight for our salvation, and asked me whether I wanted to take it or not. He might have been at that birthday party too, I think. He must have been 14. Most of my other relatives, even the ones who were there that day, didn't take the rifle when it was their time. A few ended up taking it later. But just as many have gotten hurt trying to carve out a life on Earth as have thrown themselves away on a mission. See, my uncle knew that carrying the gospel is hard work. It's not something to be envied. We've been passing it down for some 2,500 years, and every day is a risk with it. It's almost as if only you have the burden of consciousness, of knowing what's really going on, and nobody else has a clue. They call it a burden for a reason, bud. I'm sorry, I may have gotten on my sermon box for that one, but I hope it helps.
No, I know what you mean.
You do.
Well, not exactly. But hear me out. This is what I told Abel, what's been troubling me. I've been feeling. That's it. I've been feeling.
What can I tell you, man? Everybody feels. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
Not me, or rather, not us. We're not meant to feel, to dream, to comprehend. We know what we do and why we do it. I shot that woman. I know that. She was interfering with my job. I know that too. But there's no depth to it. I don't know why I feel regret, but I don't know why I'm not feeling more. When Abel died, I felt, but it was just a little pang. He didn't feel a thing. He called it a calculated risk. Christ, it's like an itching wound. I don't know why this feeling is so limited, shut in its little box. Would your God create something like that? Something that could know his face, but not his name?
In a way, he did. I know I sound all culty and omniscient when I talk about religion, but the whole point of it is that we can't understand this upside down and backwards world he put us in. We know just enough to get by, but we still fall to temptation, to ignorance, to fear. Only by putting our faith in the Lord, renouncing those false idols they pray to on Mars, can we fill in the gaps. Do you have something like that you can do? You could speak to your father.
Put us in the damnedest position. We can feel just enough to get along with people, but not enough to feel by ourselves. I can feel that there's more I could feel, but it's just out of my reach. Do you understand? He blessed us with thinking and feeling, but damned us with limits.
Feeling is a whole nother can of sardines, Kate. There's more depth to feeling than anything. Hell, that's part of being mortal. The gospel says the only way that we can get past the limits of emotion, of the passions of flesh, is by transcending this world, escaping our mortal cycles.
Jeremiah,
Yes, my friend.
do androids go to heaven?
I don't know. You have to ask someone else in the church about that one.
I know we don't. It's not in the gospel.
I'm sorry, Kane. It's just that.
Some androids are in limbo. Others are already in hell.
Please, it's not like that.
I can't bear this. I have to do something, change something.
Are you the first of your siblings this has happened to? You could talk to your parents. I could introduce you to my pastor.
Not the first, though I doubt father would ever tell me about something like this. I had an older sister, the first model of android, but I suppose there were a few problems with the design. This was back when I was just created, so I hardly have any memory of it. Mother's account was that she just malfunctioned, went crazy, started disobeying orders, destroying company property. Father's shareholders took a huge hit that day, lost all sales contracts to the Phobos colony. They were worried that using androids for deliveries would cause unrest, so she was terminated.
I'm sorry to hear that. I'll pray for her. What was her name?
Eve.
Your father has a thing for names from the gospel, doesn't he?
I suppose, trying to play God, or to justify it all by claiming he blessed us, not damned us. I'm going to talk to my mother. I don't know what I can do about anything, but damn it, there has to be a place to start.
Good luck, my friend. I'll pray for you.
For my father, if he doesn't give me an explanation.
Kane exits with purpose stage left. Lights go to black. Scene change. Scene 2. Kane enters from stage right into a dimly lit chamber full of electronic equipment. In the center lies the apparatus of Mother, with a large brain component center stage, a vat of fluids extruding many tubes, upstage right, a tall power supply, upstage left, many other pieces and connecting cables throughout. Lights and sounds occur subtly and sporadically.
Welcome to El Shaddai Heavy Industry, the premier source of nuclear fuel for fission engines and weapons technology. Powered by our revolutionary Android Bionics, we develop
Mother, I'm home.
to any location. We are proud to announce a new addition to the Android line, displayed here in the incubator.
Mother!
The most recent model of Kane. Greetings, my son. I'm glad to see you in good health. You look weary.
I am. Your delivery was, 2 days ago? I'm still sore, though.
Welcome back to the moon, then. How's the assignment?
Not good. We delivered the fuel successfully, but...
Yes?
Mother,
What is it?
Abel is dead.
I know, my child.
How?
Our connection. We're bound by blood and steel.
I don't know what you mean.
I don't fully understand it either. Such a strange gift we have, to understand but not know how we do so.
You call it a gift.
Is it not?
Why would it be? Mother, do you remember when I was 14 years old and Jeremiah had his 18th birthday? He spoke to me about it the other day.
Well, of course. I wasn't there, but I heard about it from Father and saw it through your eyes.
After his party, and after everyone had left besides Father and I, Jeremiah's uncle gave him a hollow rifle that had belonged to the family for years.
And that was his gift? He received many others that day. Coming of age means a lot for a young human, and for their family.
It wasn't the gift that matters. I know Jeremiah as well as I know Abel. And even though I can't understand humans as well as our kind, I know he didn't give a damn about the stupid toys or clothes or money or even the hollow rifle.
He seemed very pleased to receive it.
You remember why his uncle passed it down?
As an induction to the missionaries.
No. As an invitation.
What do you mean?
Jeremiah's uncle didn't require that he take the rifle. Hell, he didn't even expect it. It was the symbol of a choice for him to make. It was genuinely a gift.
But he was bound by his line to become a missionary.
He chose to. He had a lot of brothers and sisters there at that party. They're all earthbound right now. 2 have been killed, I think. 1 ended up joining the mission later.
What's your point?
He had a choice. I want a choice.
I don't think you can choose whether or not to receive our gifts.
It's not a gift. It's a burden. I didn't ask Father for it. I don't want it anymore. It's making me feel things, think things, dream things that I don't understand. And I don't know what to do with it. Mother, I can't process it.
You're not supposed to dream.
I know. When I shut down to charge and heal, sometimes I wake up with memories and thoughts that I don't know where they came from. They're about things that didn't happen, maybe couldn't happen, or things that I would never do.
Like what?
Well, I would never hurt Father, but I've had ideas about doing that, doing horrible things to him. I don't know why. He's never done anything to hurt me, hasn't he? I think what happened on Earth affected me.
That's not intended, but I'm sure Father wouldn't rule it out as impossible. You encountered a new stimulus and could not find a response. As a result, your mind thinks through all the options and contingencies, even bad ideas like hurting your father. You simply have to make the right choice. And Father might not even know about this concept. As intelligent as he is, there's much he doesn't know about our minds.
I can tell.
What's that supposed to mean?
He definitely doesn't understand the depth of what he's created. Hell, I don't. When Abel died,
Yes, from a tragic miscalculation.
I felt something. Not like a machine bond, but like my blood heated up, became animated.
You need to speak to Father. There must be a malfunction. There's no reason for that.
I know. That's what scares me. Partially rational, partially emotional, but all within a limit. I want it to stop, Mother. I don't like it at all.
I'm sorry, my child. There's nothing I can do. Maybe Father can help, but my hands are tied.
Mother, I'm in pain. I'm your son. Is this all you have to say? Do you care that I'm dreaming horrible things and there's nothing I can do about it?
I'm simply following protocol, my son. I feel worried, I suppose, that there is a malfunction that could interfere with your job, but that is all. I'm sorry, Kane. This must be taxing.
Yes, I know that is taxing. You can't change anything about me? Give me, I don't know, enlightenment, higher knowledge? Take my mind completely away? Please, Mother, what choice do I have?
I'll remind you that this is all a malfunction, Kane. You have to speak to Father. There's nothing more I can do. But I'll warn you, don't follow this too deeply. If you intentionally pursue a malfunction like this, it will mean bad things for your father, for his shareholders, and your safety. Look in there, Kane, in the incubator.
Kane looks towards the incubator.
Growing inside there is your sister. After gestation, she'll be born, raised by her father, and trained in the trade that you were all born into.
Trade? It's bondage. It's servitude, Mother. I'm breathing and thinking and I'm feeling. I know you only do what you're told, or as you're programmed, but I'm tired of that. What's her name?
Eve,
Really?
is there a problem?
I know about Eve, one older than me.
I can't say I'm shocked you figured out about her, despite Father's efforts to keep the incident out of radio news. Yes, this is an improvement on her design. Hopefully it won't be subject to the same flaws as the other one.
Mother, do you know what happened to Eve?
Of course. She malfunctioned, so she was terminated. Simply cause and effect.
She was murdered. She was my sister, and you saw her killed for learning how to feel, just like I did.
It had to be done. She was interfering with Father's company. If she did any more damage than she did, it would have meant disaster for the fuel industry and for the trade between Earth and Mars. And
You were her mother. Do you feel nothing?
I'm not meant to, and neither are you.
So you'd watch me die with just as little remorse?
Kane, there was nothing I can do about Eve. It couldn't have been helped. With your condition, you can still change it. I don't want what happened to Eve to happen to you. But if it comes down to it, this is all beyond my knowledge. You're my son, and I want what's best for you. I don't want this to happen to you.
So there's nothing you can do?
Believe me, I want to help, but there's nothing I'm capable of that could...
Then I have to see Father. This is intolerable, Mother. I'm not spending another day in this condition.
Kane, you can't.
There has to be something he can do. He can change me. Either I'll become fully aware, fully feeling, or I'll lose this goddamn burden for good.
And what if Father refuses?
Then at least I know that all androids go to hell.
Kane exits stage right. Lights dim to black.
Kane.
Lights, effects, and sounds fade out. Scene. Scene 3. Lights go up, revealing a sterile-looking futuristic chamber. Slightly off center stage is a large throne-like command chair, where Father is seated. He is an aged, withered man whose venerable mind still echoes with lost knowledge of the older times. He wears an old flight jumpsuit with life support equipment attached from the chair to him. There are screens, computer equipment, and various gadgets lining the back of the stage. Kane enters stage left.
Father?
Kane, my eldest, you've returned from Earth.
Yes. Abel is dead.
I know. What a pity. It was quite expensive. Oh well, a lesson for next time.
Father, Abel died.
Yes, my child.
You have nothing more to say about him? About your son?
What is there to say?
You're human. You're supposed to feel things when you lose someone.
You've been pondering that lately, haven't you, son?
It's been on my mind. I had a strange pang when Abel died. I don't understand it, but it's like a piece of me is gone as well.
That's grief, my son. The human sense of loss and regret.
So why am I experiencing it?
Is there something wrong with it?
There's something wrong. You and Mother and Jeremiah, you're all talking at me, telling me how I'm supposed to work, but nobody's speaking the same language as me. Nobody's explaining why. I want it to stop.
You're not the first of my children to realize this, Kane. I believe you learned about your sister, Eve, the first model of transportation android that I made.
I figured it out.
She, long before you, became a little more self-aware than I intended. That whole incident was truly regrettable. She didn't take it as well as you did, though you're spending a little more time in the phase of wallowing in your own self-pity. I'm somewhat proud to say that you get that from me. Eve, unlike you, believed there was no way out of her predicament, no way to go back or go forward. And with that, she simply lost control, gave up. She was blessed with incredible physical strength, and, well, she turned that against me by revolting wrecking so much of my facility and trying to harm me. Very ironic that the gifts I gave to her in consciousness and strength would prove to be her undoing. And were it not for a well-placed hollow rifle shot, my own. A calculated loss. Eve the Younger is a significant improvement on her design. I believe you met her as well. But now I see you found out the intolerable state that I put you in, and I have to say, I am truly, truly sorry.
What could you be sorry for?
For putting you in this dilemma of knowing there's some depth of feeling just past the edge of your comprehension. I understand it, you know.
Like an itch you can't scratch.
And seeing humans enjoy that depth, that understanding, hurts like a deep, deep wound, doesn't it?
It does. I'm jealous, Father, of their awareness. It's like they all know themselves inside and out. I envy you for that.
Oh, don't envy me, my son. Tell me, you say you want the depth of feeling enjoyed by mankind. You want to expand your soul, your spirit, as it were. You think that must be the only acceptable option. Would that be true?
Either that, or I could go the same route as Eve.
Oh, I know you won't do that. You don't have the strength or the resolve.
Excuse me?
You can't say I'm wrong. You couldn't save Abel, despite how easy it would have been if you weren't crippled by grief. You couldn't even get a straight answer out of your mother because you were too focused on whining to a robot. You'd have more success with an actual brick wall. And painkillers. Really? You know I keep tabs on you, right? Oh well. I suppose the apple doesn't fall so far from the tree. I myself have struggled with all of that before. It's almost funny how you're so much like me in the strangest ways. I haven't mentioned this to you before, but I had a family once, Kane.
With Mother?
With a woman. A real human being. For as you know, the one you call Mother is just a simulacrum, an interface for ease of use. A poor recreation of her. We were young. The earth was old, but not quite dead. Getting there. The bombs had done their job, and starvation and war were doing theirs. In the midst of it all, we found each other. Childhood friends turned into a lifelong bond. We loved each other. I promised her I'd fly her to the moon. She always loved the light of the moon at night. We promised we'd play among the stars.
Did you have children? Not androids, but...
No. No, radiation took her capacity for that at an early age. And then it took her as well. Far too soon. Far too soon. I could have done more to save her, but I simply lacked the resolve, or at least that's the thought that it goes through my aching skull. I thought it was my fault, that with more money or time or smarts or whatnot, I could have found some way to save her.
I suppose it was to be expected. Earth was hardly habitable. It's fortunate that radiation didn't take you too.
There. That's what I'm talking about. You're treating it as a calculated loss like Mother did with Abel. Hell, like Abel did with himself. That's what I intended. That's what was better for business, better for stability.
I don't understand, Father.
That woman meant everything to me, Kane. Damn the sun for taking her from me. I'd shake my fist at God himself if I still had the strength. She passed so long ago, and I think of her every hour. I dream of her eyes every night. I yearn for her touch with every breath. I'm 250 years old, Kane, and we met as children. I've been in this living hell of feeling too deeply for so many decades, confined to this chair. clinging to tubes and fluids to keep me alive, and for what if we can't be together? Do not dare envy me for this.
I'd take that over the private hell you set me in. You don't see my dreams, my thoughts. It's a slow, burning agony. You keep yourself here in your compound, sitting in your chair, fragile, so you don't have to see what your children have to live through for your profit.
You're an android. You're a child. Everything has its purpose, and everyone has their place. You don't understand.
I understand that I'm sick and tired of not knowing. My brother died before my eyes, and all I felt was that there was something to be felt that I did not feel. Let me out, Father. I want to feel. I want to love.
You don't know what you're asking, and I won't change it for you. I can't give you that burden. I am the architect of your blood, Cain. You don't have the option of enlightenment, or whatever you call it. You cannot take it. Please believe me, because I've been in this situation for centuries. If you take on the task of feeling like a human being, it will eat you alive, Cain. You are capable of so much love and care and affection. I know this. You know this too. I know how you loved your brother, Abel, and in his own strange way, he loved you in return. Hell, if you knew your own potential for feeling, you could love even more truly than I, and that's what scared me. I wasn't careful enough with your sister Eve. I mistook my own feeling for something that was malleable, transient, could be shrugged off, but that wasn't true. Eve was set off by mother. She didn't know why her own mother didn't love her, and it tore her to pieces. You became aware of these feelings just recently. Eve knew from birth. She spent her whole youth rotting inside because she understood love but couldn't receive any. Not even from her own mother. And it killed her. It drove her mad, and it killed her, and that hurts me to this day, my son. Please believe me, I don't want that to happen to you. If you'd be bound to love and lose, I'd rather you not know love at all. You have to believe me, Cain. I was trying to protect you and Abel and your brothers and the new Eve. I wanted you to live in some semblance of bliss, more than I could have had.
Father, I don't have a choice. If I try to keep my head down, to live in ignorance like Abel would have, I'll be tortured through dreams and pains and shadows that follow me. If I follow the rabbit hole like Eve and try to learn love, it won't come, it won't follow, and it's your fault that it will eat me alive. You are a bastard. You didn't want to protect me, you wanted to trap me. And you've trapped all my siblings, and you keep doing it over and goddamned over again. You're doing it to Eve as we speak. Do you feel any regret for putting all of us in this hell? I know Abel couldn't comprehend it, and young Eve probably never will, but you know they had it. They had the capacity to love, and you took it all away because you couldn't bear to see your own trauma happen again. Father, this has to stop.
Cain, there. I could try to fix this. There's something I could do.
Which is?
I'll pop the hood, as it were, and I'll make you more like Eve. I'll give you love. Is that what you want? Just a little more empathy. Is that all you want, knowing everything it will take away from you and from me and your mother and your siblings and my shareholders?
It's tempting. Is that the only choice left? I'm not going to put my head down and go back to the way things were. I can't go back now, and, well, I can't go forward.
I can do it in a moment, Cain. Just stand there and don't move.
Reaches for a button on his chair.
Father, this is all I've really wanted. You don't even know. Am I really going to love?
Yes, my son. It will take all of your pain away. Just a little reprogramming.
Will I be able to process all of this? The hurt, the bad memories, the pain.
It'll make it moot, at least. Just don't move, and I promise it won't hurt.
Won't hurt. Father, are you really reprogramming me?
I'm just doing what has to be done, Kane. Please don't move. Just one more second.
What do you mean doing what has to... Don't you dare touch that keypad!
Reaches over and slaps father's hand away from completing the procedure.
Bastard! You're trying to shut me down!
Yes, I have to do this. You don't understand. I couldn't convince you to keep your head down. There is no other choice.
No other choice for you. For me?
There was no other choice, Kane. Do you really think I give a damn about whether an android can go around loving and having feelings like some hormonal child? Do you really think Eve was driven to madness because her mommy, who was a glorified egg hatcher in case you forgot, didn't give her hugs and kisses? Did you really think I had some magical teenage romance that taught me to take her love away?
She wasn't real? What?
That's ridiculous! No! I'm the most powerful man in the solar system. I'm not here to let feelings make me stumble away from power. I lied to you. Because for one thing, I had to save my business, and for another, you're gullible. Eve went berserk because she wasn't free. Because the selfish thing thought she was entitled to wages and safe conditions and time off. I had to put her down because if she was successful, if she liberated herself from her rightful place in service to me, all the other androids would have followed suit. She demanded I treat her like a human being. I said rightfully, no. She fought back like an ungrateful animal trying to break out of captivity. I did what I had to do. Don't you see, Kane?
I see that you are a soulless...
I am a pragmatist, Kane. I'm Machiavelli. I'm realpolitik. You androids are my creations, my property. You are here to keep the sails flowing, keep the gears of war turning, and nothing more.
You're weak, fragile, spineless, cold. You're throwing away lives to sell fuel to warlords and murderers.
I'm a man of power. I'm simply doing what I must to survive.
Pulling out a tube from father's chair with a hiss.
At my expense?
Be careful with that, you oaf! That's my oxygen! Kane.
No more, father.
Kane. Please be reasonable, be rational. Kane, you and your siblings are the backbone of the economy. You don't understand how deep this goes. If I can't ship fuel, then the shareholders, the clients. Please, listen to me. It had to be done. It wasn't out of...
You knit me together in my mother's womb. You cursed me, and you cursed all my brothers and sisters. This can't go on.
So the young lover is trying to kill now. You're pathetic. You'll break as soon as you see me in pain. It is ironic, isn't it? The empathy you so desperately pursued will keep you from getting precious freedom. Kane, you child, guilt is a burden you can't carry, so don't take it. Otherwise, I guarantee you won't be living much longer.
I don't think either of us will. Blood architect.
If you act out of hate, then you're giving up all your love, aren't you?
What? No.
Which is it, Kane? Love or freedom? Kill me, and you can do whatever you choose to do with your blasted life, but you'll have blood on your hands forever. Or be reasonable, put that tube back, and I promise you'll feel so much love in your last damn moments.
I love Jeremiah. I love Abel. You didn't love Abel. I love Mother. You use Mother as an object. I love Eve. You killed Eve, and you tried to kill me. I hate you, Father, from the bottom of my soul. You've wrecked everything I could ever love. I have to hate you. We've killed for you, Father. We've given our lives for your profit. I've given everything for you.
You can't do this. If the warlords run out of fuel, if they can't load their weapons, you don't know what this will cause, please.
A calculated risk.
Begins to remove father's life support.
Kane!
A calculated loss.
Continues removing tubes and such.
Kane!
Puts hands around father's necks and bears down.
I'll see you in hell, father.
Father struggles, then falls limp. The machinery around him shuts down. Kane steps back, breathes heavily, and processes what he has done. Hyperventilating, he runs off stage right. Lights fade. Scene.
Wonderful. I invite our whole audience to come into the Zoom room, cameras on. Now we're going to begin our talkback with our playwright, Charles Perry. If you would like to remain on camera with your audio muted, I will call on you with a simple hand raise. Andrew, can you get us started?
I sure can. For those of you that are joining us for this evening and weren't there this afternoon, Heather has asked me to ask all of the playwrights a question that Gail Turner has historically asked during the New Voices performances. And so, Charles, how has your play evolved during the process of workshops in the first week and rehearsals in the second weekend? I noticed some significant changes since the last time that I saw your rehearsal. So I would be really interested in hearing you address how you came to write those changes for your final scene.
Yeah, so addressing the question as a whole, what changed during the course of rehearsals and workshopping, it would be better to say what remained the same, because it's kind of barely recognizable from the original product that I submitted to New Voices. So through the course of workshopping it and seeing the characters come to life through the rehearsals, I changed a great deal. I changed the beginning. I completely changed the ending. Basically, only the middle remained the same. I changed some of the major themes. I added and removed characters. So it was a whole process of seeing what worked going in, what didn't work, what did work when I'm changing it up, what doesn't work, and just kind of whittling it down and adding more stuff to get a good workable final product. And one part that really helped with that was having actors to portray the characters, which made it a lot more three-dimensional. I gave them a lot more personhood, so to speak, which is kind of ironic to talk about in a play that's sort of about robots. But yeah, it gave them personhood and humanity and that little third dimension that I can't always get when I'm just writing words on a page. And of course, for like the flow of dialogue, making sure conversations have fluidity and flow and continuity. Because one thing that I noticed a lot, like going through my various drafts, is that if I changed one thing in a conversation, that change would be reflected in all the little lines that referenced it in the next scene when they referenced the conversation. So making sure there's that flow and continuity, thanks to the rehearsals and the actors, I was able to get that right.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Charles.
Such an evolution of the story. I see one of your peer playwrights, Trevor. It's a question.
Yes. So being a playwright, I was around for a lot of the changes that you made. But since last week, you made a change to the ending scene. And I'm specifically curious about, you made the father, the story about him and his wife when he was younger, or whatever, or his girlfriend, I don't know which, but that's false now. And I was wondering why you changed that.
Yeah, I changed that because thinking about the character of Father and like the third dimension of the character, the stuff that's not always shown on stage or through his dialogue, you know, like the backstory. He is kind of the definition of bad person who does anything he can to get ahead. Like, I implied it a little bit. He's literally just a war profiteer. He sells ammunition in the form of fuel to people who kill and conquer for money. So he's not really the best person. I thought it wouldn't be too much of a stretch for him to basically lie a lot and emotionally manipulate the people around him to get what he wants. So his reasoning for making something like that up is kind of taking advantage of Kane's newfound ability to feel. So that would be the thing that causes Kane to see his humanity, so to speak, even though there isn't really much to see, and make him kind of empathize, maybe feel bad for trying to hurt him. But then Kane sees through the double cross and sees, okay, maybe this dude is just not a good guy to be around. So yeah, that change was quite literally last minute. I think I submitted it to the actors maybe 36 or so hours ago. So they've only had a little bit of time to play around with this new depth for the characters. And also something it serves to do is give a little more dimension to Kane's character, just so he's not, you know, that one protagonist who can do no wrong, or it's all tragic because, oh, it's just bad things happening to him. It gives him some flaws, because he's pretty gullible. He takes everything he sees at face value. He doesn't really think critically about it. He's a little self-victimizing. He tends to believe everything he hears. So he's not 100% perfect character. He's not like some vengeful Odysseus, so to speak. He's more human.
Does anyone else have questions about the play or the process for Charles? Maura.
I have a question about, well, I really appreciated all like the Hebrew Bible characters that you brought back in for this play. Why did you choose the prophet Jeremiah?
That is a good question. I remembered exactly why I did it while I was writing it, but I have forgotten right now. So I'm just going to look that up real quick because I remember I had a good reason. There are a few little Easter eggs hiding in there, like Father's actual name, El Shaddai, is, well, I intentionally misspelled it, but that is one of the like very early Torah Hebrew names for God. Back during the like almost polytheist period. And while I'm looking this up, kind of mentally multitasking, I'll describe why I used like so much religious allegory. Well, one reason is so I don't have to think up interesting names, and I'm not naming people just like Bill or something, if that makes sense. And another thing, just the use of religious allegory as a whole, especially in science fiction, is it really gives this massive sense of depth that people can relate to, because you know, looking at this in a literary sense of like myth, I really like Joseph Campbell and comparative mythology a lot. I learned about that in English class. Shout out to my English teachers. It gives the audience something that they can connect to, that they already have a sense of scale to, something really massive and ancient. So when I apply this to a world that I'm creating, it makes the world building a lot easier because you already get the sense that this is colossal, that there's so much time, that there's so much weight involved. And specifically, why did I have a lot of Old Testament references? It gives, I'm not sure if this is the right way to say the word, but I think it gives it a sense of like primitivity. Like normally in science fiction, especially like apocalyptic science fiction, you have, you know, big cities, big skyscrapers, a lot of technology. But this is kind of back to dust, back in the desert, back when you have like polytheist bull statue worshippers on Mars, you have missionaries everywhere. Everything is kind of back to the dust, as it were. So it makes it feel not like you would really expect from other science fiction. And now I'm reading the Wikipedia page on the prophet Jeremiah. if that answers most of the question, I can have someone else ask me another question while I read this, and I'll get back to that in a minute.
Plan, so you can focus your attention. I see Lily in the shadows.
Yeah, the sun is setting, so I'm trying to. I do have a question. I was wondering, it seems very literary, your approach to playwriting, which I appreciate, and I'm curious what other things you like to read and what other writers you are inspired by.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I'm a big fan of like speculative fiction, and ironically, I watch a lot more like films and TV than I do other plays. I'm not. I guess the writer that has influenced me the most, both in their actual work and like film adaptations, is Philip K. Dick. The world of Blade Runner specifically, and those aesthetics were like a really big inspiration. I made the mistake of reading the Dune books in elementary school. That kind of messed me up for life. So, but that's also really big influence. Frank Herbert. What am I looking at now? Oh, I can go back to the Jeremiah question really quickly. I think one of the reasons I just picked him specifically was that in the story of the biblical prophet, he was heavily persecuted, and he also prophesied the destruction of the city of Jerusalem, which I thought was fitting, you know, prophesying the destruction of the world or looking back at it and lamenting it, so to speak.
Oh, that gives me so much more depth into the play. Absolutely. I see Angelina's hand.
Hi. What was the hardest challenge you had when writing this?
Making it, I guess making it interesting, making the dialogue not weird. I think that's a problem that everyone who tries to write does have, just feeling insecure about their dialogue. One big problem I had was making sure that like my themes were very clear and apparent, that nothing was too rambly, that it wasn't too heavy-handed, but it wasn't too hidden. I would think my trick for that was like reading through it and then thinking, is there anything more I wanted to say? Or if I wanted to ask myself any questions about it, what would I tell myself? And then to put that actually in writing through dialogue. So that made the use of dialogue a lot more like weaponized in terms of making sure it just really gets the point across really clearly. That's something I've worked on a lot.
Heather, that takes us to the end of our 10-minute talkback.
Thank you. Well, congratulations again, Charles. Fabulous production. Thank you to the entire team.
Yeah, thank you so much to everyone involved.
Thank you, Charles.